Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. I think we're going to put the goldfinch to rest, hopefully. Uh, we're going to, I showed you on the mounting of it how to do that. Now what we're going to do is complete that, show you how to handle the legs and the feet, and then we'll do the beak and finalize everything, and then we'll get it to fly, okay? So I'm going to show you how to wrap it up and get all of it together so that we can now say it's done, believe it or not. So if you'll bear with me. One other thing too that I would like to let you know is if anybody's interested in doing any of these projects, I do have catalogs available that you can get from me through my email, and it has the feet, the eyes, the blank, and the pattern all in one. And if you just need individual parts of that, you can get that as well. I have bits, I have machinery, whatever you may need. I can try to help you out on that. And if you have any difficulty in any one area on something, hey, give me a buzz and contact me, okay? Definitely through my email. The email address will be in the body of the description of this video. And also, I'll give it to you. It's Rauscher, Rauscher, Frank, Frank, 7 @gmail.com, and you can get me there. And if you have any questions, or if I confused you along the way, like I usually do sometimes, hey, fire back. I'll try to help you out. And where I have a good handle on things, I'll put you in that direction. And if not, I'll try to point you in another direction so that you can get the information. So I don't always have all the answers, but I'll surely try, okay? So for now, I'm going to move the camera down. We're going to wrap this up, and I want to show you how I do it. And hope you enjoyed this one too, okay? And if you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. And if you have friends that may be interested in wanting to try to do this, please pass the word on about my YouTube channel. I'd appreciate that greatly, and that would really help in my process with, what's the name? YouTube. So I really appreciate that. And we'll now go and wrap it up. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and show you some of the stuff I've done already on this, and that is, I'm going to take the legs out. And what I've done before you came along here is I used an all-purpose sealer by Joe Sanyo. And this here, you could also use, what's the name? A matte medium mix as well. And what I do is I get a little bit out. I usually shake this real well. And then, again, it's Joe Sanyo all-purpose sealer. But you could also use matte medium. You get a little bit on your brush, like so. And I'll come in and just get a little bit on that. And then what I do is I let the whole thing cover, and it sort of takes the metal sheen off, and I do the top, the bottom, and everything around here. Now, I've done this before I got on to do this video, and the reason why is I wanted to get this dry so that we could proceed to the next stage, okay? And I just let it air dry, and I did that for both of them on the legs and feet. And I cover both top, bottom, all the way around. Now, what I want to do, I'll put these off over here. I get my paint tray. I'm going to get, this could be any acrylic paint. I use Liquitex, but it could be any one. This is raw sienna is what I'm using. Now I'm going to come out and just squirt just a little bit of raw sienna. I don't need a lot. Just about a BB size, I'll say. And then what I'm going to do is I'll get a small brush for the amount that I'm trying to do here. I'm going to add some water. So in the beginning here, I'm just going to put a little bit of water in here and mix this thing up pretty good. And you know what? I should have left some of it a little more solidly. So let me do this. There's some here. Maybe okay, but there's still some here. I see it. That didn't mix. So I'm going to leave it on the heavy side up here, and this is the watery side down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the feet with the legs. This is like the joint up here, so I'm going to paint this, and I'm going to use the heavier mix so that it covers faster. And I want to get all of it painted. Okay, so I'm going to go onto the underneath side as well as the top side. Make sure you get all of it coated. I can't even see what I'm doing here. There we go. Let's see if I get this side. Yep, I missed something there. I seen that right there. And now let me put this down for a second. I'm going to get one of my picks, if I can. Of course, I got a million picks and none of them want to work with me at the moment. There we go. I'm just going to plug a hole into this mat like this. Just like that, so it stands up. Then I'll do the other one here. You could use styrofoam, it doesn't matter. As long as you have something that'll hold it up and let it dry. Now, what I'm going to do on this part is I'm going to use a hair dryer on this. But the initial one, the sealer, I let it air dry, but you can accelerate it. You can use your hair dryer on that too. I just did it ahead of time before I started the video. And the key here is I'm trying to get everything coated, and I'm using the more heavier side of the mix to get it to coat maybe one time. I'm probably going to give it 2 coats here, and I come just past the joint up here. Okay, yep, I see something else I missed too, right here. And that seems to have it. So let me do this. Let me rinse my brush out. Remember, I always say, rinse your brush out, get all the paint out of there so that it preserves your brushes. You don't want to beat up your brushes too much. Now, I'm going to try to twist this into my hand here. And I'm going to get my hair dryer, and I'm aiming it away from the paint and the brush. And I see I missed the spot, but that's okay. Going on the inside. I will try to come back and get that. And I another spot. So the idea is to get this completely painted before you mount it. And that is the key. So let's get this, give me a second here. And what I'm going to do is get this again and just so that I have everything evenly coated here. There's a spot right there I missed. And then there was a spot here. Let's see if I got it all. And some right there. Okay, so I think I got most of the spots. So I'm going to lay that one there and let it dry. I'm going to grab this one. Let me rinse my brush out again. Get most of the paint out. And I can see before I even go anywhere. Yep. Sure, I could see. I'm going to come in, coat that. Just didn't look like it was coated enough. So get that. Switch that around. There we go. I can see a spot or two on this again. So the idea is to get everything really covered for the first one, if you can possibly do it. If not, we're going to give it a second coat, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dry this thoroughly, and I'm going to give it at least two coats. Stop. I'm watching to see if the sheen comes off of this, then that'll tell me that it's dry, and that's what I'm trying to find out. Okay? And if need be, when you're mounting this sometimes it doesn't always want to work for you, and you may have to come back and touch it up again. So always save a little bit of paint. You never know what happens when you start mounting things, that things get disturbed. Now I'm giving this a second coat. I don't know what that was, but we'll get that out of there. I'm giving this a once over. Get all that. See what we got here. Yeah, at least two coats. Maybe a third if you feel like you need it. I'm going to put that one down. Okay, and I'll get the next one. And I'll try to go with the heavier mix if I have any left. Coat that. Now, you don't want it so heavy that it blobs up there. You want it to have just enough water to make it move, you know, pretty good, but not so watery that it doesn't have any substance to it or paint on it, you know. So asking you to do this. Okay, so I think that should do it. Now I'm going to lay them right there, rinse my brush out. Now, what I want to do too, while we're still playing with this, I want to give it one last coat for the bird. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of water in another cup here. And I'm going to get a little bit of the paint and mix that in. And you could tell it's really diluted here. And that's exactly, if you want to see the strength of it, it's not that strong. So I may come back and add just a little bit more. And you can see the staining quality. I want to come in on the cheek here. Maybe I should just go from here to here and see how we go here. Dab some of it off. Now, that's just a little too strong, so I'm just going to wipe just this cheek area here, just around here, up to here like this, just to pronounce the cheek. And I don't want anything heavy on it at all. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to get a little bit of this, try this up here. Yeah, take most of the paint out of my brush. Still, I don't want that strong. Just, it gives a hint of the raw sienna right through here. And you can hardly see it. And I hope you can see it. I wasn't out of camera range there. It's like this, coming around the cheek up to the beak, like that. Just a slight hint of color. Okay. Now, the other thing we want to do, rinse your brush out real good. I have what they call gloss medium. This is Liquitex, but you can get it in smaller bottles, and this is big. You can squirt some of it out. What I end up doing half the time is I leave it in here, and I get just the tip of my brush after it's had some, it's been rinsed out. And what this is, I want to gloss up the beak. And the beak, I'm going to grab the beak, and I'm just going to paint the beak with the gloss medium, both top and bottom, like that. Now, I'm going to rinse this out, take the excess off here, and just come back and with a damp brush, just maneuver that around. Hope you can see that well. And that'll put a glaze on it, okay? And that's what I want, a glossy glaze. So I'm going to let that sit off to the side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to prepare. Let me move some of this out now that I got most of that done. I want to get a piece of wire. And let me get one of my pads for gluing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a pad. I'm going to get 5-minute epoxy. And the 5-minute epoxy is, this is the hardener. Pop that lid off. And then I'll make sure this gets down in here. I'm going to squeeze out, not a lot. I'm going to squeeze out, maybe a little bit more than that. There we go, right there. Put the lid back on. And you'll have plenty there for a good long time. And if anybody needs any of this too, I sell it. And they're not that expensive. And it's a nice way to handle the glue without getting a mess on your hands. So I get a piece of wire. This is that Polaris wire I use for making legs as well. And I have that available for like 10 cents a strand. It's about 18 inches long or something like that. I'm going to mix this really good here. Okay, and before it gets set, I'm going to bring my base into play here. And we have a hole right in here for the leg. So I'm going to get this wire just into that hole, just enough that it's got just a nice coating in there, okay? And that is where the one leg is going. So I'm going to put that there. Now, I'm also going to get some on in the hole where the leg goes, both in here, like so. And then I'm going to get it in that one as well. Now, I'm trying not to touch the beak or anything else like that. I think most of these, well, they still look a little moist. So let me try this one here. Yeah, I think we're okay. If it isn't, I'm going to have to go back and repaint it. But I should have tried this, but I'm trying to expedite this for your viewing here. So I get not an excess amount. I want to take some of that off. And I'm going to plug this right into the hole. Right on up to where we were. Okay. Then I'll put that down. Try this again. Hopefully we are dry, but if we aren't, that's why I touch it up again. I'm just getting enough glue all around that post. And I'm plugging that in. Just like so. Okay? Now, what I want to do is get a little bit of the 5-minute epoxy on this end right here as it goes into that hole anyway. But then I'm just getting enough here. I want to put that on the ball of the foot of this because I lost the post. It broke off. I don't know if you remember that or not. So I'm going to fit this up now. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get this right into the hole. And I think we're in good shape. There we go. And get the foot in there. On there. And we're mounted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that for 5 minutes. And what I usually do when I mix it, I'm going to save this because this will tell me when it's really glued up. So I'll put that off to the side so I don't get my hands into that or anything else like that. Rinse out my brush again just to make sure I get all of the stuff off. Now we have a base down here that I was trying to explain to you before. This is recessed, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a flat base. And what I like to do sometimes is to dress it out, just like I did the original one I did. So I'm going to get this reindeer moss, and I sell this for like $3 a bag or something like that. It's not that expensive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit this around just to sort of populate the area here. Let's see if I can get that in there nicely. Do it this way. Let me turn that around. Go that way. Then I'll get some more of this over here. Let's see if I put that right in there. Get a little more in there. And I could use probably a little more. in spots like there and here. So, and if need be, I'll put a little bit more in. But right now, I'm looking at what I have, and that may do me. So I'm gonna try to populate this around where I think it wants to go back, okay? Now, I'm gonna get, this is just Elmer's glue. And this will dry clear. So what I'm going to do is I'll use my brush here and clean this off because I don't want this glue to set up. I'm going to let this pour out. That's going to cover a lot, so I'm going to use the brush. And I wouldn't use an expensive brush. I'd use an inexpensive brush, and that's what I'm using here now. Even though I was painting with it, I will spread this around, and I hope you can see this well. I'm going to get this. I had plenty of glue in there. You don't need this white in here like that. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm spreading that. Now this will dry clear. Now the trick of that is to get that brush cleared off so that that glue does not hang in there on that brush. Even if it's an inexpensive brush, you can reuse this again and again and again. So here we go. I'm going to put this back in here like this. I'm going to put this in like so. I'm going to put this in back here. And I'm trying to cover the white as best I can. Populate that in there like that. And then I'll get a small piece like so. I could rip that right off. Add that right in there. Okay, a little bit over here. And get that in there. Now we got a nice bottom effect that gives you a natural bottom like grass or weeds or something like that. And this is called reindeer moss, and it stays very, very fluffy. I don't know why, but it does. It's natural, and I think sometimes it does harden, but it does take the moisture out of the air, and it stays fresh for a long time. And there's your setting there. Just want to show you. That's it right there. Now we have, whoop, I moved it because I don't have this on a post here. So for you, when you're doing it, the post would be ideal. In my case here, I broke the post off, so I'm trying to get that foot attached just by gluing. So that would make it steadier. But I just want to show you that so you have a good idea how the whole thing sort of looks. And every time I move this, I better just stop and give the 5-minute epoxy its just due. But there it is there. I hope you can see it well. The camera's looking down. I know it's not the best. Now, here's what I was saying to you. This will get real tacky, and then you'll know that it's set. Then you can start maneuvering things around. But it's a nice project, a nice looking bird. Hope you enjoyed it. The gloss medium on the front will give just a slight sheen. It's like it's not glossy as much as it's satin finish like, and it really gives the beak like a bony look. So hope you enjoyed this project. I think all the birds are kind of neat, you know, as we go. And on some of these, after everything dries, I'm going to go back and try to straighten the toes up just a little bit so that they're in the right position and not look so bent. And then if need be, you can go back, get your paint and do a little touch up, but try not to do that much of it because you don't want to put the paint on the branch, and then you got to start touching up the branch and everything else. So hope you enjoyed this project as well with all the rest. I think I got a neat one coming up, and hopefully you'll enjoy that one as well. And if you ever need anything, like I said before, definitely contact me. And my email address is Rauscher, Rauscher, Frank, Frank, 7 at gmail.com. And I'll try to help you out wherever you may need. I'll try to guide you in the right direction. And you don't always need everything, and I always say that. So bear with me on that, and hope you enjoyed this project, and we'll get you on to the next one. And if there's other projects you see, like the cardinal, the wren, the Carolina wren, the finch, the otters, I'll probably be doing some animals down the road here. I think the next one will be a bird, but I just want to let you know that this is how I do it. This is how I mount them, and we do the finishing on it. We did the finishing touches on the paint of the legs. So this should finish us up for this project. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. So thanks again, and we'll see you later.